think we keep them on, no?
All of them all the time. Or
Renee and Shane?
No, the speaker,
Oh, the speaker, yeah, I think we keep them on the whole
the
time.
whole time. I
Yeah,
think so,
All right.
yeah, turn your speakers on green if you would.
just because it's a communal.
All right, yeah, and they're pretty good, but they're not the best. Okay, so are we all ready? Okay, I will call the Winchester Board of Education meeting to order August 12th, 2025 at 7 PM. We'll do some roll call first.
Jonathan Morhart.
Jeanette Broder. Sandra Strubar.
Nora Mokarski,
Julie Luby.
Kurt Warner.
Corey Lavetri.
and on the phone?
Renee Waldron.
Okay, thank you. Why don't we stand for that Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Allison is absent, excused for tonight. Okay. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Do we have anything for approval? Or to add, to move? Okay. Item 3, public comment. Just getting my language here. The Winchester Board of Ed welcomes you to our business meeting here tonight. There are 2 opportunities to set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet if you wish to speak, your name, your address, and your email. State your name and address when called up to speak. You'll be allotted 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised it's not our practice to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. Does anybody wish to speak? Come on up. Oh, can you hit that so it turns green? Perfect, thank you.
Hi, I am Chrissy Rylander, 46 East Mountain Avenue. I have 2 children in Winchester Public Schools. My son is going into 2nd grade, my daughter into 4th grade. I am actually very excited to share that I'm going to be running for the Board of Education in this upcoming election. Thank you so much for all that you have done. I know there are quite a few who will not be returning this upcoming year, and those are very big shoes to fill. If I am elected, I am very excited to continue the good work that you have done. I'm very committed to Winchester Public Schools, as I do have 2 children in the system and the town. I think it's an amazing little town, a wonderful place for my children to grow up. And I'm just thrilled to be given the opportunity. I believe in the smart spending makes for strong schools, and I look forward to being able to work with the remaining members of the board and others who are elected, if I am elected, to continue the success of our schools.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Bishop. I go by Ellie. I'm thrilled to say that I'm also going to be running for the board this fall. I wanted to thank you all for the hard work that you do for our current students. I think that public education has never been more important than it is today. I really look forward to learning a lot from everybody. Listening, I know there's a whole lot to learn. But I think together we can make a great team and we can have a very positive impact on the kids in our town. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak? Ellie, if you could sign in as well. You could take that thing over to the side. the desk there.
Hello. My name's Eric Nelson. I live at 30 Cherry Street right here in Winston. I've only been a resident of Winston for about 4 years now, which is actually pretty remarkable for me to say. I was born and raised outside of Buffalo, New York. Both of my parents were public educators in varying capacities. So I was raised in a culture where education, including public education, is incredibly important to communities. So I'm submitting my name to be on the ballot for the Board of Ed. Very excited about the opportunity. The second part of my life was actually spent in Clearwater, Florida, so 25 years. So I'm sure some of you are thinking, man, what are you doing here? My wife is originally from here, so that's what brought us back in this direction. She absolutely refused to go to Buffalo, so this was our compromise. My professional career has taught me a lot about fiscal responsibility as well. And you can educate and be fiscally responsible in the same breath. And that's the kind of the vision, and I know it's kind of a generic one, but that's the vision that I'll bring to this role if elected. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Yep.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
I'm sorry about my hat head. I wear a baseball cap all day long.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Item 4, approval of the minutes. Item A, minutes of the Board of Ed meeting June 12th. This is that special meeting that we had moved, but it's a regular Board of Ed meeting content. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of that June 12th meeting?
Motion made?
Thank you, Jonathan. Do you have a second?
I'll second. Is
You
Shane
both.
in the meeting now?
He did not call.
Okay, so he's not in yet. Okay. So the first motion is Jonathan, seconded by Jeanette. Be mindful, this is the
Needed to be
12th. The
there.
12th, yeah, persons need to be there to say yes. All right, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4. Okay. Thank you.
Renee's in favor.
Renee, thank you. That's 5. Opposed? Abstention? 1, 2, because you were absent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. All right, that's 7 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 on the phone. 7. Thank you, everyone. Okay, item B, minutes of the ad hoc negotiating meeting, June 26th. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Thank you, Sandra. Second?
Second?
Okay, Jonathan? All right, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And, okay, opposed? None. Abstention? Myself, I wasn't there. Renee?
Abstention, yes.
Okay, that's
abstain.
2, right. Okay, so that's 2 of us. That's June 26th. Thank you. That motion passes. Item C, minutes of the Special Board of Education meeting July 9. This, so you might remember, was to appoint Renee St. Hilaire to the Director of Teaching and Learning, the creation of the teaching and learning position, not changing any footprints in our budget, and it was an online meeting. You might remember that. Okay? All right, so do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from July 9?
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from July 9th.
Thank you, Jeanette. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right. All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's Renee?
Renee, in favor.
Okay, that's 4. Opposed? 0. Abstention? 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. That is 7. Thank you. 4, 0, 3.
I was there.
Oh, you
Wasn't
were
I?
online, Tori, yeah.
Whatever.
Do you want to switch your vote?
Too many meetings, guys.
So let's do it again.
I'll approve.
Okay,
Or I can abstain either way, it doesn't matter, does it?
well, you
really?
were there. You were there. 502. Okay, item C, 502, July 9, okay? Thank you, everyone. Item D, minutes of the special board meeting board retreat, July 26th. This is inside the Pearson Library. Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any second?
I'll second.
All right, Sandra? Okay, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 3. Renee?
Yes.
4.
In favor.
Okay, thank you. Abstention? Sorry, opposed, rather, apologies. Opposed, 0. Abstention, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, that is 7. All right, thank you, everybody. Phew. All right, all right, it is. How you doing over there? Okay, all right, thanks, Tiffany. All right. Item 5, communications, chairperson comments. Okay, so it's not quite 51 days back yet from the holiday break. I'm so sorry, but I'm hoping everybody had a really great break. We do have one more week, really, of official time out and time off, but I also do, and I do understand the administration was working really hard to get things going and rolling for next coming year. Of which includes schedules and hiring and the variety of different things. So the work never really ends. And I do really appreciate, and I think we can all appreciate Renee St. Hilaire's new position, teaching and learning, being a full-time position year-round, helping us to create a learning environment for our kids, getting them ready on day one. I really do appreciate that. And Barb, your administrative support, and Rosie's administrative support in getting us all going, because it really does not end. Just a couple things, just so you all know, we do, as you mentioned, we have new board goals. I just want to reiterate what those board goals are for the community and make sure that they're okay with that, so that they're, well, okay and knowledgeable with it. As a board, we had a retreat in July, and it's every year in July where you visit your board goals for the year. So ours, as we decided collectively, was to support the superintendent goals, which have been subdivided. Encourage and monitor student learning and performance, and I'm on page 12 in the packet for everybody that knows. Engage in the community, or engage the community into our school system. Complete the process of reviewing and updating our policies, which is ongoing. Ensure the fiscal responsibility and transparency as a community. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals are what going to be driving our decision-making in teaching and learning and the things that we do throughout the school year. So I just wanted to point that out a little bit to you. Just a little FYI, it's like my little bugaboo. Just so you know, Julie and I have been in contact with the town manager and the Department of Public Works guy, Jim Rollins, to talk about Hinsdale. You all might remember the reconstruction or the redoing of Hinsdale and the investment the community made in Hinsdale. And part of the issue was that the river ran through it, right? So the state was not going to give us money unless we removed the building over that river, and we did. And that exposed the river, and inside that area then is riprap that the river flows through. Part of that riprap needs to be looked at, all of it needs to be looked at to make sure it gets maintained so that it is up to its engineering specs. So we are going to take on that responsibility, have persons, Julie's going to work on it, have persons come in, take a look at what vegetation stays, because it should, what vegetation comes out, because we need to make sure the engineering specs are legit, and that if a flood comes, that it is appropriately flowing and doing what it was designed to do. So I just wanted to let you know that that's out there in terms of maintenance and moving the house forward, okay? That's it, we'll talk about the roof update eventually. And that's all the points that I have to make, but it's very exciting to move ahead with our district. We do have a vision statement. Students are provided with a nurturing and caring community that enlightens and inspires and empowers our kids to explore their creativity, their talents, and their desires, so all kids can learn and realize their dreams. So here we are, we're starting a whole another year, okay? Okay, item B, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be back with all of you. I'm sad as could be that summer is slipping away because, A, I love to sit in the sun, but B, more importantly, it's such a great time to work closely with teachers and administrators and really examine all our practices and do great work. And we've had so many great things going on that I'll tell you a little bit about. One of the things that I've shared with you a little bit along the way, but wanted to share tonight when we have a more formal meeting, was we took a look at our specials rotation, PE, art, music, and library. And Renee will talk later in the meeting, it's on as an information item, but I'm just so excited that we are having Innovation Lab, or something with a similar name, I don't know if we've landed there, but that should be very engaging to students, and we are doing that very mindful of thinking about things like student choice and student engagement, increasing attendance, increasing school climate, really making sure that we are lighting a fire under kids and getting them excited at school. So we're excited about that, and Renee will give you all the down and dirty details. Another exciting thing that happened this summer, actually through our networking with the Alliance Grant group at the state, because we are an Alliance district, they come out, we have goals with them, they say, how's it going, what can we do to support you? And they connected us with a group being led by West Ed, which is a group that the state uses for a lot of different things. And they're facilitating an improvement network around literacy. And we're in a cohort with, I think, 5 other districts, all of whom are using the same CKLA that we implemented this past year for the first time. And the purpose of it will be to improve our implementation. We're off to a great start. Like with any product, I think we got a year into it and we're like, okay, so here are the things we like and here's the things we don't like, and how are we gonna use the program with integrity so it's effective and yet also do the things we know that matter, like small group instruction and differentiation and literature. So we're excited that we're in a cohort with other districts that are using the same thing we are and have some of the same questions that we do, because we'll be facilitated in our growth. Our reading specialists will work in that, our administration, Renee will take lead on that, but it's gonna be great. Another thing that's come up, I think, again, I've mentioned sort of along the way that there's a great emphasis on the state level at moving towards a time where school districts offer universal preschool for all students. And so going in that direction, they keep creating more and more opportunities for grant funding to grow your preschool programming. And through that conversation, one of the things I became aware of is that in order to be eligible for some aspects of the grant funding, you need to be NIAC accredited. I'm going to liken that, for those of us who don't spend as much time in preschool, a little bit like when we talk about high schools and we say they're NIASC accredited. Well, NIAC is what we do with little people. So we are not currently NIAC accredited, but we, I think, intend to seek that accreditation. We've done a good look at what the standards are and the expectations and requirements, and feel that we will be able to meet those. And so much like a NIASC evaluation, I think it will be a process for us of identifying our practices, documenting, and making sure that we're in alignment, and then seeking that accreditation, which I think will be a nice boon for the district to be able to say that our preschool programs are accredited. I'm going to go a little out of order on my superintendent's update, because I'm going to highlight 2 things that came out of, under leadership, I've mentioned splash weeks. So this summer, we put the opportunity out to teachers and invited them to come in. We did 2 different splashes. Splash stood for Summer Professional Learning and Strategy Huddle, which is a little corny. It's hard to make acronyms, you know, especially in the land of education where everything's already an acronym. But we had about 20 to 25 people in each of the 2 weeks, which is pretty outstanding when you think about the fact that we probably only have 75 certified staff. So we really had almost a third of our people volunteer and say, hey, I want to work on this thing. So we brought people in. The first week that we did was focused around high quality instruction. And I won't belabor and bore you, but I will tell you, it was so exciting in the corniest of ways. But we, you know, a lot of school districts say, oh, we believe in high quality instruction, or we deliver high quality instruction, but never take the time to say, what does that actually mean here to us? Like, what actually is? So we've spent the time and really crafted a description of high quality instruction, and it's something I'll be able to share with you in the coming weeks. We're going to roll it out. So under Teaching and Learning, we are preparing to roll that out with teachers on the opening professional development day and let it guide all of our work. It will be one of the things we did. I also put together a week with the administrative team, a leadership retreat with the administrators and the coaches. And one of the things that we did was revamp our protocol for doing in the past we called them walkthroughs. We decided just to distinguish it, we'll say instructional rounds now, just to recognize that we've sort of refocused those to be specifically, when we're doing these, it will be to inform our professional learning, because feedback we got from our climate study was that our professional learning has maybe not been applicable to everyone or not been of the highest quality, and that's a shame. We have very precious little time to work with the teachers. It should be great, so we'll do better. And a lot of it will be around high quality instruction. So those instructional rounds will be prior to professional learning days, gathering information about where we are, what practices are we seeing lots of, what things are we ready to lift up and spend time talking about together, working on together. So that's an example of something we did at the leadership retreat, was sort of reframing that as a team. So that's where we were with the high quality instruction Splash Week. The second Splash Week was focused around positive behavior supports. One of the things that I heard throughout last school year as I did the listening sessions and focus groups with teachers and parents, there was a lot of talk about student behavior interfering with teaching and learning. And we can't have that. We're here for a purpose. It is teaching and learning. So anything that's interfering with that is a problem. So we spent some time figuring out what were the problems we're seeing and which ones were most impactful, and sort of putting aside things that were not really impactful, and really focusing on the things that are getting in the way. And then we sort of shifted our focus to, and what are the things we wish we saw, and really started describing the positive behaviors, and that what would it take to have a learning environment that is very positive. So again, in regards to the positive school, to the school climate study, and also within our description of high quality instruction, one piece of it is, what is the classroom environment like? And so that folds right into this. So they all really went well together. And within the work that we did around the positive behavior, one of the things that came out of it was a desire on the part of staff to have a consistent, non-negotiable morning meeting protocol. There's a lot of research. Responsive Classroom is one big organization that has promoted morning meeting. We're not necessarily like buying, if you will, Responsive Classroom, but we are training up, and we've created our own protocol with, again, a bunch of teachers came back in and wrote up, here's our purpose, here's our protocol, and they'll be presenting on the opening professional learning day to their colleagues what this morning meeting needs to be. And it's 15 minutes, but it's greetings, it's that way that you bring kids into a school day that says, we're happy you're here. Let's put aside, let's learn. And so it's helping kids get into their school day, and we're really excited for that protocol. It's gonna be a dynamic tone setter to the day. And I do think lots of teachers have morning meeting in their classrooms, but I think different classrooms, different people came in at different times, they had different training along the way, so this is a good reset for us to say, and this is how we'll do it. So the teachers have been working to design it, and it's gonna be fabulous, and it's coupled with descriptions of the positive behaviors and language for kids within the zones of regulation. It gives kids instruction around, like, the words, I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel mad, I feel happy, because sometimes kids just stomp their feet and throw something because they don't have the words. So we're gonna work on growing that. So all really good things in regard to that. So that's the Splash piece, it's the morning meeting, it's the HQI, and then the leadership retreat, I'll just add, again, it was the full admin team and the coaches, and it was great. We spent some time focusing on leadership behaviors, and then specifically within leadership behaviors, instructional leadership behaviors, and then some of our district procedures like the walkthroughs, which have now become instructional rounds, but really just, it was so exciting to work with the team. Our administrative team is fabulous. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am between the Splash Weeks and the Leadership Week. I don't take credit because the vast majority of these people were here when I got here, but you have great talent in this district, and that is phenomenal. And then finally the piece about the goals, you know that because you've done yours, and we worked during our retreat to work on district goals, and I think we actually got them pretty far along. I think we just need to go back to the document and like tidy it up and make it pretty, but we're close on that.
Were the district goals first, like from our retreat, and then it went to leadership?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
So a couple things on the operational front. Tomorrow? Is tomorrow? No, Thursday. I don't have no idea what day of the week it is.
Today's Tuesday.
On Thursday, we have mediation. We are going to mediation with the custodians union and the secretaries union, which the state sends a mediator. Thankfully, it's not even at a cost to us, but when you're, this far apart with your negotiations, you bring in a mediator and hopefully they're gonna, and they'll find the middle and we can be done. But they also know what all the other settlements are, and we were really far apart when we sat down for negotiations. So that's moving along with that on Thursday. So the roofing project, I think I sat here at our last meeting in June and said, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the state was insisting that we did a roof in 2009, and we were insisting we did a roof in 99, and I was starting to think, like, what's going on? So as it turns out, we did the roof in 99, but we didn't finish submitting and closing out the project until 2009. And the state said, sorry, under the statute, the year you have to start counting 20 years till we could provide more reimbursement is from the date you closed it out. Unless, they said, you have a warranty. So we did a lot of digging and we reached back out to the vendors and we have produced 2 warranties because there were 2 projects that took place around together, but for whatever reason they were separate projects. I sent those off to DAS, they reviewed them, and they said, you're good to go. So on the subject of roof, when we do proceed, we are back to 1999, which means we're more than 20 years since that, and we are eligible for reimbursement. Our rate for the coming year seems to be 70%. So that's a piece of it, and we have now restored that eligibility for that, so that was exciting. The other piece is we did, you probably all remember at a Board of Selectmen meeting, Troy said, I have a friend. And Troy's friend came and we had a great meeting with him, and he did a first little test for us, and he measured the roof and he put holes to see. What he did was he came back and he said, you have 1 roof, not 2.
Oh, that's good.
So, we don't know yet the answer, but it's possible that put a layer on, there was a fancy term like go over, we could do a go over or a full rip up. And what will determine that, the next step would be, you have to do, according to Chris from Garland, a $5,000 moisture test where they go back and they figure out if what's under that first layer is, like if you have wet insulation, you got to do a rip up because you can't put good over bad. So I spoke with Paul Harrington a little bit today, and his thought was to sense out the board's appetite. The Board of Selectmen dedicated $50,000 in the town budget set aside to the Board of Ed for the purposes of sort of that research stage of the project. So we could either go ahead and tell Chris, go ahead and do that moisture test, which would then tell us if we're on a go over or a rip up, difference being like 1.2 or $2.2 million. Or Paul said the other option would be just do that next step of getting like the engineering people. His worry was if we just went ahead and did the $5,000 test and then we know which we want and then we go out to bid for someone to like do the engineering of it, they might say, well, that's someone else's test and that was done a month ago. And so he was a little worried we could end up having done a test that was for naught. So I guess the question is to the board, and it's something we can talk about, if we think we want to do a roof next summer, though, it's actually time, because the folks at DAS tell me you've got to get, like, by October, you're putting in your stuff to get your approvals in place and get your plan in place and all of that to be able to do it next summer. So we should be talking about, maybe we can put it on the September board meeting, if you want to proceed with the first step of getting that moisture test as part of an engineering look.
Can we start maybe with committee, finance? Can it go into the finance committee meeting just as a first blush to talk about it in August?
Sure, there isn't committees in August.
Oh, yeah, there are.
What does the test require? How much money is that?
5,000, right?
The moisture test is a
Yeah.
$5,000 test.
And then we'll be putting out to bid for the actual roof.
I think that there's a step before putting out to bid for the roof. I think there's like putting out to bid for the engineering, like the planning of the roof.
Right.
And then that, once you have your plans, then you put out to bid the actual doing, is my understanding.
Engineered plans, right.
We got committee meetings on the 26th of August, unless we canceled them.
We didn't cancel them, but I
Okay.
don't, last year you had August committee meetings because there was like a reason. I don't think we do have August committees. If we do, that's great, but
Okay.
I don't think
We'll
it's
look
on the
into that.
website.
What's the consequence of putting a roof on top of a roof? I mean, the weight, right? You would have to engineer that.
So it's typical to do 2 roofs, I'm told.
Is it?
Don't look at me, I mean, I'm
The
clearly not a
website
roofer, but
Goes from August regular meeting to September regular meeting.
that
So,
was,
no mention of a committee.
it wasn't planned for last year.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't do one, it would just be
Right.
a special meeting if you wanna have a round of committees.
Okay.
I asked about that, they said, either way, you're having, I think if you do the second layer, it's like a 20-year warranty, if you do the brand new, it's a 25-year warranty. I don't think there's any reason not to do the go-over if you can. I think it's typical, you do your second one, and then you do the rip-off when you can no longer.
How long does this
It's the same for your house. It's the
Exactly.
same thing.
That's, I'm a little bit leaning into that.
Yep,
Like, of course you
Except
go
for
over.
the insurability.
yes, yeah.
For homeowners insurance,
Yeah.
yeah, now it's less years and all kinds of crazy.
Well, no, they won't take 2 layers.
2 layers anymore.
For us, apparently, they still do
No, I think
for
that's
our
different.
buildings.
Well, it's a flat roof.
Did you say 1.2 million or 2.2 million?
I think that, I don't have that with me, I apologize, but.
I believe Shane's on the phone right now.
He is. He
Is
called in
Shane-
a few minutes ago, and when he called in, I notified.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
When we're discussing it, I'll come armed with
Okay.
as much specifics as I can, but I just wanted to put in your thoughts that it's something I need to get your,
Right.
like,
So
you
there's
wanna
a,
do it.
there's a
about it.
possibility that if we do the moisture test and then we bid it out eventually to a company, they're gonna wanna do their own.
Perhaps.
Exactly, that's what Paul was
Okay, so
concerned
that's where
about.
we're gonna be.
Saying.
Okay,
So it
Okay.
probably makes more sense to do the bigger piece, but
right.
To bid it out first,
to bid out the
Engineering.
engineering.
and then we'll determine.
But we have to, there's no point spending the money that will cost unless we're looking each other in the eye and saying, yeah, let's get this done.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
With 70% reimbursement, if it's a $2 million
I'm
roof,
just getting ready to do the calculation.
it's, $300,000
Yeah.
to the town, right? Did I do that right? $2 million roof would be 200,000 would be 10%, 300,000 would be 15%. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm doing the 85%, which is so many of our other projects. It would be
600,000.
600,000 to the town, yes.
Yeah.
And it would have to go to referendum and all of that.
Yep, that's over 500,000. Yeah, town charter.
But I think Paul is
The 2 million
thinking
is
we should.
for the go-over?
No.
That's
That's
for the
a
rip
rip.
off.
Rip-off.
And that's a
1.2
loose number, but
Right.
I think it was 1 point, and again, that's really a loose number, because this is a guy who has not done the moisture test and
Right.
isn't actually bidding it, he's just,
Just kind of,
Guesstimates.
when I talk to people, I make them give me numbers, even if they didn't do the math and get prepared, so I don't hold them too much to it, but. So that's where we are with the roof. Quick update, central office, so much credit to Dave Cruden, who, has taken the school-based health center, which was all kinds of, I don't know what else to say, but puke green. Really like the color of that nerd's bag green, and equally crazy yellow, and, super like fun for kids, but a lot of colors, and, has put it, just painted in a nice neutral color and done the rip out that needed to be done. We've spent nothing more than really paint at this point, but are creating a space that's going to be able to house our whole business department of Nancy, Linda, and Amy, and then Charlene, myself, Nancy, and Tiffany, and Mary. And I think it will just make for so much ease in terms of information sharing, and it's gonna be great. So it's coming along nicely, and I invite any of you to come by and visit. Give us like another week and a half, it's still dirty.
looks good.
But we're close. And also, I'm sorry, I know I'm going on and on. A couple other things under operations that have come up since I put this together that I wanted to share. We are getting divorced from the town. The town has asked us to divorce them in terms of, turns out, we don't have our own tax ID number. So we are completely joined with the town. Like when we pay bills, we actually like have to give it to them and they actually have to run the checks and give them back to us. Like we really are married.
Wow.
And they want to make some changes, including going to an outside payroll system, and there was some other reason that I can't remember at the moment, but they've asked us to get out. So we are in the process of learning all the different things. We'll need to get a tax ID number, we need to get an EIN number. We will open up our own accounts, same place at Bank of America for ease. At least I think we'll go talk to Bank of America and make sure that they'll be conducive to us with the arrangements, and we don't want to pay fees or anything like the town doesn't. But the idea then is when appropriated budget money is going to us, it's not, nobody's paying for a wire transfer or anything, like it's, you know, we're connected, it's easy. So that's something that's in process. The goal is to do that December 31, so that employees of the Board of Ed don't end up with 2 W-2s. Because we get our own tax ID number. Kicking in on January 1st means the following year you worked for us in that year, and so that seems to be how that moment was picked. So, you know, it's a little bit making us nervous, but we have good people and they'll figure it all out. There's also a lot of like duplication right now because we're tied, and so like some things we do the things, but then the nice lady to my left, Cindy, right?
It was the taxes, yeah.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Cindy ends up having to, like, all the things we do, and then she has to do them again because it's actually the town. And so there will be some efficiencies, but then there will also be more work on our side, some tax filings and things that we don't, like, we prepare, but then they submit. And so we're gonna have to get all our own portals, and, but it's what it is. The divorce is happening, it would seem. The other thing that's,
And child support.
yes, that was part of the conversation. It was funny, just the dynamic. We were sitting in the fishbowl room upstairs, and Paul and I were at opposite ends of the table, and then the 2 business managers, and Amy and Cindy, and it really, there were a lot of good jokes about the divorce. Paul promised we'll still be friends.
We have visitation rights.
We do. So the other really cool thing that's just come up in the legislation so we get a report from Shipman of all the legislation that went through that could affect us. And so I read the entire like 40-page document this weekend really closely. And one of the things that I found exciting that I wanted to share with the board is that they have approved DRIP funding, which is money for school districts that, unlike like the big construction money, there's going to be an allocation. And they're going to say to you, and it's based a little bit on your, I think it'll actually be tied back to like how they calculate ECS. So it has to do with your size and your socioeconomics. But they're going to say, you've got $100,000 or whatever that number is, and we can spend it all in one place, or we can actually take it and hold it to the following year. So we have $200,000. I'm making up numbers, wishful thinking perhaps, but whatever that amount is, it is for district repairs and improvements. So we can use it for things like boilers, HVAC, any kind of capital repairs. We could be using it, you know, our capital plan that we put into the budget, we could be applying it to things in there.
Like a gym floor?
Like a gym floor. What's really interesting is that it specifically calls out by name Endowed Academies is also going to have their own allocation. So I believe that means, and again, we have to wait a minute till they actually say how much, but I think we're gonna have a dollar amount, and Gilbert will have a dollar amount for things like science labs and improvements like that need to be made, which will be a huge boon to taxpayers if we've got this extra little bit that will chip away at some of the stuff in the capital plan. And once it's
Not a use it or lose it, we could save it, we could put it aside.
that was what I read. You know, you probably have to draw it down or something. I would also say to you that there is a lot of money being tossed around right now for districts who want to expand preschool or who want to expand special education programming, which preschool is, of course, to the tune of, if we're 70% reimbursement, let's just say we said we want to expand and do more preschool, our reimbursement rate would go to 85%. The regular 70 plus the 15, and then there's competitive funding on top of that available. I love the paragraph where it says, at no point can your reimbursement go above 100%. I was like, I'm okay with that, but if you can get close to, I mean, you could do a $10 million project that costs the town $150,000, like, or $1.5 million, like, really?
15%.
That's nothing.
That's 30.
That's pennies by comparison. You could, so, really interesting. My thoughts are all around preschool and thinking about the state's vision of universal preschool. And then the Early Start funding is all about, we'll give you $100,000 for every preschool classroom that you open, so you could buy all the furniture and all the startup stuff. And then they'll give you $90,000 a year towards the teacher in the classroom. Like, so when I was talking with Dean Petroselli, I had to call to get the information about the culvert and what's required for the vegetation and all that. We were talking just a little bit about all of the money around construction right now, and he said, someone's gonna use it. He's like, there's a lot out there, and if you don't take it, other towns will. Like, so it's something to think about. If there's something that we feel like makes sense for us, I don't think you'll ever find a time with better, I mean, 85% guaranteed reimbursement is, that's a wow. So I think it's something that we should start talking a little bit about, of what visions we have in terms of special education, preschool, could be really interesting.
September agenda,
Sure.
rolling up our sleeves for ideas.
Maybe in committee meetings.
Yeah, yep.
Special transportation bus, our own bus, special ed.
Oh.
We looked into having our own buses.
We've had-
Big money, but why
We've
not?
had that happen.
85%.
Who's gonna drive it?
But
I was gonna say, we'll obviously need to hear from you
Transportation
if
fee.
we're
We
gonna
looked
do
into
special
that.
ed.
Yeah, I know. the
I said I was gonna say, we're
transportation
gonna
fees
need to
are a
hear
lot.
from Kathy if we're gonna do
Yeah.
special ed,
Yep.
right? So,
I might need it down.
maybe at our committee meeting.
Yeah. So I think that's it for superintendent's report. That's all the things.
Okay.
Is it like 2 in the morning? Have I been told you? You're fresh.
No, it's good.
It's been
You've
a
been
long
busy.
summer. I missed you guys.
You've been busy.
Finance. Quick, anybody have any questions for teaching and learning operations, educational leadership, or any of the upcoming events? Go ahead, the convocation.
Convocation, it would be lovely if any or all of you could be there. If you can only come and even stay, the first 15 minutes, I would happily introduce you right at the beginning, and you could wave and say to the teachers, have a great year, and hop out if you wanted, but it would be so nice for them if you're able to. We're right in Pearson in the cafeteria.
Is that a Monday?
Yes, it is. And everything else kind of is what it is, and then our next regular meeting is September 9th in the evening, which should be on your calendar. You have a Google invite to all of the regular meetings, as best I can tell. I think they went on there as soon as the meetings were set up.
How about for committee meetings, Google invites for those as well?
If we don't have them, we'll add them.
Okay,
but
that'd be
we
great.
probably do.
For the year, right? Okay.
Well, only through December, because
Oh.
they don't exist until I've got that on my list of things for probably the September board meeting, is to set the meetings
Oh, okay.
for the, you do those by calendar year,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And they
I'm
need,
not sure why, but we
they
do.
need to be posted too for the year, the committees and regular, on our website.
Well, they are,
Okay.
but they only go through December 31st
Yeah.
until we meet and pick the new ones for the next year.
Okay. You're doing high-quality instruction. You were talking about walkthroughs,
Yeah,
to help with the PD the following day.
not the following day, but
Or right thereafter,
Our cycle,
instruction runs. Do you envision the Board of Ed members being invited to the walkthroughs at one point, any point?
probably not those walkthroughs, but if that was something the board had an appetite for, we could absolutely, I could offer a couple of different dates and invite the board to come in and guide you on walkthroughs of things.
Okay.
The ones that we're designing are gonna have teachers, kids, it's already gonna be a 3-ring circus. I would probably do something dedicated for you guys.
Okay. All right, anybody else for any questions? All right, there's a lot, thank you. Okay, committee reports, item C. Item 1, Finance Committee, just to let you know, the federal government released federal funds for Title II, 3, 4, so we don't have to worry, our exposure was 25,000. So I just want to let you know that that's all released, so that should be in good stead. We don't have committee meetings in August, so we're starting a new year. We'll take a look at the committee information in September. One of the things that we had talked about and was requested is to get down to some level of detail with regards to the budget. So there would be more detail provided at a committee meeting. And then the usual report, the fiscal report for the board packet won't change, but the detail will be there in the finance committee. That's the intent, right?
Yep, I'll talk a little more about that when we get to the financial reports too.
Okay. Item 2, curriculum. Renee, I'm not sure if you have anything.
I don't think the committee's met since the last.
No, I don't believe we had anything for curriculum at the last meeting. I know we talked about recess time previously, and I don't think we have met since then.
Okay, so we would meet in September to continue that conversation. Policy, Sandra?
Yep, Julie and I have met, we're having another meeting, we're just fine tuning what we still need to put through.
Okay, so again, September, you'd have things.
We'll have things for September committees
Okay.
to start the process again.
Alrighty. And then item 4, the Gilbert School Contract Negotiating Committee.
Yep, we met over a month ago, June 26th. Met with Gilbert's negotiating committee to talk about possible an agreement between the town and the schools. I think we came into it, both sides came into it with two different viewpoints. What came out of it is just having something that has language, and I'll talk to it specific language saying that Gilbert is our high school. And the statement that we came out of it with was the Winchester Board of Education designates the Gilbert School to provide educational services to the town of Winchester for its middle and high school students, and the Gilbert School agrees to provide educational services to the town of Winchester for its middle and high school students for a period of not less than 10 years after the completion of grant payments, or for a period of 20 years after insert date signed. One thing that we wanted to bring this to the board earlier, we were waiting on some information from the state that what would constitute, what length of contract would constitute
Long-term.
allowing Gilbert to get reimbursement. We still do not have that information, but if you refer to the statute 10-285B, it basically states, as what I just read to you, in order for an incorporated or endowed high school or academy to be eligible for a grant commitment pursuant to this section, such as high school or academy shall provide educational services to the town or towns designated in as the high school for such town or towns for a period of not less than 10 years after completion of grant payments under this section, and provide that at least half of the governing board, which exercises final educational, financial, and legal responsibility for the high school or academy, exclusive of the chairman of such board, be representatives of the board of boards of education designating the high school or academy as a high school for each. So that's where the language came from. That's what we discussed. That's what we're bringing to the board. So that is how we left it.
So waiting for the State Department of Ed.
I don't think we're getting that.
So when we sent to them, they wrote back quickly and said, we're on it, we'll get back to you. And then unsolicited, they wrote back to us a second time and said, just to let you know, we're still working on it, it's with legal. And in fact, when I was talking to them about the roof mystery, they commented that they knew it was off with legal. I did send a tickler to them, maybe just yesterday, saying, hey, but I haven't gotten a response yet unless it came in the last couple hours.
Okay. All right, anybody want to make any statements, comments? Okay. Item D, liaison reports, the Gilbert School Corp.
So in between this meeting and last, I met with Mike Susi. He had meetings with Gilbert Core members to get a better idea of governance. The Gilbert School also had a special meeting on July 23rd, which I did not attend because I was sick, but I called Holly, got an update. So basically, the meeting involved Nicholas Caruso of CABE to discuss board goals with members. Board goals are likely going to be set at the September 24th meeting. And that's planned to be facilitated by Caruso. Mr. Susi will present his superintendent goals in this month's Gilbert Core meeting. Based on the goals of both parties, a format for superintendent evaluation will be agreed upon by Mr. Susi and the board. There was also no regular meeting in the month of July, even though it says so on the events calendar. We didn't meet on the 16th.
All right, thank you. Renee, anything to add to the Gilbert School Corp report?
No, nothing.
Okay. Okay, item number 6, information items. Enrollment reports, there's nothing. Attendance report, there's nothing. Oh, my apologies.
There is no report because obviously school's not open, but I
Right.
did want to just give a quick update on where we were with the kindergarten numbers.
Okay.
Last year, as you know, we were watching kindergarten closely because we were anticipating 80-plus students, and so we continue to watch that. It is a nail biter. As of today, we have 71 students and 2 more that we think are coming, but we have not had confirmation, which really is cuspy. It's putting us at 18 in a section, which is fine. I wouldn't add the 5th class if we're at 18. The problem is, the history of the school is that in the last 2 weeks before school opens, 10 more kids walk in the door, which is what makes this a nail biter. So what I wanted to say to you is, assuming the number stays at 18, or even if one of them goes up to 19, what I would be inclined to do, and I know the school would prefer, is to stay at 4 sections of 18. I'm being very mindful that we told the community we would not have overly large kindergartens, which is why we put in the position, but I think at 18, if instead of hiring a teacher, we hire a teacher's assistant and stay at 4 sections, we'll do better for kids with an assistant in each classroom and 4 sections of 18 than 5 sections of 15 without consistent support. Because right now we have 3 TAs across the 4 classrooms. We would have 4 TAs across 4 classrooms. They wouldn't be popping in and out. But so what works to our favor is that we have a kindergarten teacher on maternity leave. So we have a kindergarten teacher in our hip pocket. We've already hired the long-term sub, and she's great. So if, let's say the 12th, so school opens the 27th. So in the next couple of weeks, if all of a sudden the flood happens and the kids all come out of the woodwork, we can take the teacher we've hired as the long-term sub, position her as the 5th class. It would take them a day to switch out the class lists in Power School and be ready to go. But my sense is we're not gonna need to do that. But again, I've never been here at the end of August, and I don't know who's gonna walk in the front door. So we are poised and ready to go either way, is the point. We're trying to be nimble and responsive. Definitely not stressing that one at all.
So
The only person more stressed than me is poor Rosie, who's like, I have to get a room ready if this is gonna happen.
if
I'm
it's
like,
5 classrooms.
we'll be okay. It'll be okay. Whatever it is, we're gonna make it work, but we don't wanna open with large classes after we were so planful about not needing to do that. So we're watching.
So you have a long-term sub in there now to take care of when the maternity happened.
Oh, it's already happened.
It has
It's a
happened.
teacher who
Okay.
was out from mid last year, who's coming back mid this year.
Okay.
It would leave us looking for a long-term sub at the last minute. That's a little, we would find someone. There are elementary certified teachers who have not yet found a job.
Oh, okay.
Some positions like special education, you can't grow people. You truly cannot find them, but elementary ed is always an area, there's always someone who doesn't have a position yet. So we would be able to, at a minimum, find a long-term sub replacement, and we've already been through our process. We've already had our long-term sub candidate do a demo lesson. You know, she's been fully vetted already, so
Okay.
I love that we sort of have her in our hip pocket.
Okay.
And we like her a lot, so,
Great. Well, that's a nail biter.
yes.
Item C, personnel report.
Okay, so personnel report. this obviously goes back a pretty far way, so there's a lot of people on here. And the reason the new hire list is longer than the departure list is not because we're hiring more people than are leaving, but because there were people who left before June 1st. People we knew were leaving who were on the June report, I guess. So within the departures, we have several retirements. Actually, many are retirements. Both of our speech and language teachers unfortunately left. We love them. I think they love us as well. They both, so there are 55 openings at the moment for speech and language providers across the state of Connecticut. So it is ridiculously competitive, and both of our speech and language people who were full-time with us have taken positions that will be only 4 days a week, but making more money than they were making here full-time. So, I mean, that's a good gig if you can get it, have 1 day off a week, so I don't begrudge them going. I mean, how do you not? We have hired one speech and language person, and we'll probably have to contract for the other, because with 55 openings, they're not exactly banging down our door. And similarly, we've hired some special education folks, but we probably will end up having to use contractors for some of that as well, although we still have a couple weeks and we don't give up. We're very excited. Wait till you meet these folks. I'll have to figure out how to get them here in the meeting, but we've just got a fabulous new music teacher. Our classroom teachers are gonna be great. Our person who's replacing Glenna is the inclusion coach. Our instructional coach with the special education background is awesome. She participated in our leadership retreat week. Both of our innovation teachers are bang-up, fabulous guys, so exciting. We've got a great new PE teacher for Hinsdale. We made some great hires for the elementary classroom positions, the upper elementary, and also for the preschool. And then we are still looking for a few things. The PT, well, I guess because its contract isn't on here, but mostly it's special education. The para positions, I know we have some people in the queue, right? They fell out of the queue. Okay, we're back to looking for those.
Okay.
If you know anybody who happens to be
Sarah.
listening to this meeting,
Right.
who had nothing better to do on a summer night, we really need, if there's any retired teachers out in the world, we would be thrilled to hire you back to teach or be a para or a sub. We are so eager to hire para educators to work with our kids. We will train you. What you need is patience and a interest and enthusiasm for working with kids. We'll teach you what you need to know. So we do have some positions left to fill, but we have, as you can see, done a lot of great hiring this summer. Our principals and Renee and Kathy have just been hard at it. The worst is when you find someone, like we had a music teacher in place, and then I'm not really sure whatever happened. He never made it here. He said his life circumstances changed and he wouldn't be coming. I don't know if he's leaving the area. But those are hard. You know, you've been through your process, you brought in the kids, you did the lessons, you picked your person, and then a month later.
Demo lesson.
But you know what? It's funny. You know, I'm a big believer things always work out, because the person we found instead for the music position, he was going to be great, but I think she's going to be even better. Like, I'm so excited.
Okay.
So, I think our principals have been sharing with me, they feel that our candidate pool has been really good this summer. Like, we're getting applicants. So.
And we're not using Indeed and these other larger fish things.
When we post a job on CT REAP, it's out
That's
there
it.
that way in the education world.
Yeah.
And when we post it on our Applitrack, they do cross-post as part of our arrangement with them. I think it is Indeed where they post maybe, so it's a little bit out there. And any minute now, as soon as I come up for air, I'm going to establish our presence on LinkedIn and
Okay.
start putting our postings there as well.
Okay.
We're also posting all the special ed stuff on the Special Education Employment site, which is a national site. So, and we're still not getting candidates.
The other,
There's a shortage. There's a shortage of special ed teachers.
Sure is.
Nationally.
It's a critical national
Yeah.
shortage for anybody in special ed service.
Yeah.
and we are open to, for example, we have a teacher who has one endorsement, but she's adding a special education endorsement. So we will work with people who need durational shortage permits while they work through their programs. The other thing on the personnel front that I wanted to share with you, a year ago, January, the state put in a requirement that you needed to do an exit survey with all certified staff. And it was really around the DEI work, and it was intended to sort of look at patterns of people leaving a district. And so our district was using a piece of paper that said basically, why are you leaving? And there were like 4 options. And it was only given to certified staff. So we've upped our game on that, and we've just put into use a Google form that we will use with all staff, not just certified staff, but anybody who's leaving us will be given an opportunity to provide feedback, and we're asking people what role they were in the district, what their reason is for leaving, and there's, you know, more pay, leaving the area, like all the different reasons, unhappy, not supported, really trying to pick it apart, and then also about their experience with us. So it asks them about, you know, while you were here with us, did you feel like you had good staff development, access to resources, support from your team, and just really trying to use it as an opportunity to hear people's voices. And it does end with, would you like to have an exit interview with the superintendent, in case, in my experience, sometimes people have something they really want to say on their way out, and I'm always happy to hear that. You know, survey data, I think it was Friendly's that used to say this on the table card where it asked you to like leave them feedback. It's free market research, right? Like, no matter what someone says, it's great that you have that information. So we've got that survey designed. We actually just had the most recent resignation was a special education teacher who has filled it out. So it's up and running. So really glad that we're gonna have that feedback from all employees.
Great. Any questions on the personnel report? Okay, moving on to item D, year-end budget summary.
So if we have specific questions, we can call on Nancy, but what I'll say to you is these are preliminary. We haven't closed out the year yet. Nancy's got until September 1, I think, before we start getting fined to have it all done, right?
It's gotta be done by then.
Yeah. So we're getting close, and I would consider these fairly reliable, but not definitive. And so, like always, she's got the different funds, if you will, down the left side of the first page, town appropriation, town support, the non-lapsing. You're right, Nancy, 1837. I kept saying 1,400 earlier today. $1,800 in the non-lapsing fund.
Yeah, and that's been there all year.
Right.
That's our go-to stamp budget.
So,
Thank God we don't use stamps.
So as it stood when Nancy did these reports about a week ago, we were due to have 14,000 more to move into non-lapsing.
Wow.
Whether or not that sticks, I don't know, but I have to say, in a budget the size of
That's
ours,
it.
that
could be, hey, that's a set of Chromebooks or something, you know? It could. They will take anything.
So what I did want to point out about the reports, like if you look at the next page, Nancy and I have been working closely on how to add some information into these to just make it easier to interpret what we're looking at. I find each month I sort of like don't know what to say to you when we turn to these pages, like, what do you want me to draw your attention to? And I have to ask Nancy the same questions each month, and I struggle to figure out how I know how we're doing, because I look at these with a lens for, are we doing what we said we were going to do? Are we trending on plan, under plan, over plan is probably the thing that feels most pressing to me. And so we're going to be adding some columns, and when we come with the first actual months at the September board meeting, we'll have not only year-end stuff, but we'll also have the first one of the month, right? Because by then we'll have had spending. And so at that, I'll show you, there'll be a few more columns that will just be helpful in terms of seeing, like we're going to have the previous month on here, so that you can more see the pattern and the trend than just, it's hard to keep like referencing back to the beginning of the year. So that'll be helpful. Same thing, the next page that has, this is very similar information, but it puts the appropriation and the town support side by side. And then the grant page also too, we'll be adding some columns on, because again, and I think actually the spent prior year, that's already new on there, right?
No, that's always been.
That's always been there? Okay. So we're adding again a little bit on here so that we can understand, because some grants straddle more than 1 year, I'm always asking Nancy, but how much of that grant did we plan to use this year versus next year? basically, we spend the whole of each grant each year, but what we do is we spend, like, say, 50% out of one year and 50% out of the other year, which means you're still spending the same amount of money, but by doing it that way, you always have a safety net, so that if the federal government says, whoops, just kidding, you're not gonna have that grant anymore, we have half a year before we're underneath it. Like, it puts you a minute ahead of yourself. It would only help you in that one year, and then you're out of luck, but at least it gives you time to plan. So it's really smart that Nancy does it that way. That only applies to a few of the grants, but in cases where we are planning to use some, carry some, use some, carry some, we're adding a little information here, so it'll be easier to see if we are trending according to plan.
Hey Nancy, under the page 16, professional technical services, the 300s. You know, we were over on that line
Yes.
for 130. What drove that most?
I think
Mostly.
the interim superintendent, that was $25,000 of it, and then also the contracted nurse subs were $28,000 of that.
Nurse subs, okay.
And is Tom Dillon in there as well?
He's like 10 grand.
Yes, he's in there for 16.
16.
So,
I'm sorry, what was the nurse subs total?
The new subs was 20, the nurse subs was 28.
28,000 for nurse subs.
and you'll see the wage line is, we didn't spend everything planned, because again, Freeman was paid out of professional technical instead of out of wages,
Right.
which if he were a keeper, he'd be paid out of wages, so
Right, right.
that offset makes sense.
Sure. Security legal.
Oh, I forgot to point out the best news of all. If you go back to the grants page,
Yep.
and you go down to line 682, you'll remember at one point, there was sort of a doomsday outlook, and we thought we were pretty deep into the 660. The 660 looks
Yep.
like it's back around 440, which when I got here in September, it was 460. So, turns out we didn't end up killing it.
Good to have a cushion.
Yeah.
How about substitutes? Do we have a high number of substitutes? Does that kill us?
So what happened was we had a nurse that was out for an extended period of time, and that was a very expensive contracted substitute we could get through an agency, so it came at a premium.
Okay, so the day-to-day sub for various teachers, that's not really the driver there.
No,
Okay.
this is really
A
nurse subs.
a specific thing. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we can also take a look at that 660 fund, maybe as an option for a gymnasium floor, as well as the other pieces that we were talking about from the state of Connecticut.
My suggestion would be, let's see what we're getting in drip.
Yep,
Absolutely.
I mean, if
Drip?
it's a drip of
yeah, this use less.
$17,000.
Right, use
Keep
this
that
last.
money for
But if
a
it's-
cushion.
Right,
Yeah.
totally.
And whatever
I-
we can get from the
Agreed.
state, we should get from the state.
Agreed.
The other thing too for the board to remember is that maintenance of equity fund, the 660 fund, whatever you want to call it, does not have an ending window that it must be spent by.
Right.
So that's what makes it really
Special.
special, so
Yeah.
Okay,
spend the other money first if we're gonna lose.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
I'm in agreement with you, Nancy.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, thank you, everyone. Item E, library transformation.
All right, well, I have to tell you, this is a particular favorite information update of mine. I will say that when, Nora, you read our mission, and we're talking about having our students realize their desires and dreams, I think this is a perfect example of where we're going in the right direction to help with that. This summer, I was fortunate enough to attend a week-long training on drones. And our two new hires who have a lot of STEAM experience and computer technology experience are going to be joining me in implementing drones for our grades 4 through 6. So all of our students will get to experience coding, learn how to fly drones, and from there we will call out 3 teams that will do competitions. It's an after-school commitment, but it's one that we're really excited about. In addition, the new innovation teachers will continue our tradition of supporting kids' love of literacy, taking out books, integrating that with some of our new curriculum that we're working on designing. We're looking at Project Lead the Way and really extending those opportunities for all kids to get excited about learning. As Julie said, it's one of our ways we hope to get the kids saying, I really want to come to school because I have this innovation class today. And we'll also be taking a look at kids' interests to help build our curriculum here. So lots going on in that area. Any questions regarding that?
Just makes me happy that we're bringing the drone program back. Makes me happy that we're trying to reach all child's interests and potential.
We were
Glad
so
that we've made that a
excited at
focus.
those last competitions. I
Yes.
just couldn't remember. The kids just couldn't
They are so
contain
excited.
themselves. They were so happy.
And I forgot to mention too that I've also signed us up to host a drone competition like we did before.
Yes.
So in March, we'll be doing that. There's a lot of planning going into it, and remaining board members and new potential board members, I'll again be looking for, and
Judges.
even those of you who are leaving, I'll be looking for judges and other volunteers. I would
I
love
want to do it.
that help. It really takes a village to run that, but what a great jewel for the town and the excitement of the children. It's just great.
Thank you for the energy. I know it takes extra effort and time on behalf of everyone, including parents, to get their kids ready, so I think that's fantastic. So, I appreciate it. Yep, all right.
And I think I have the next item too.
Early childhood update?
Yes.
Okay.
So this early childhood is a big reason why I'm in this position. I want to just give you an update on what I've been working on. We've already had 2 meetings to sort of get this kicked off and going. So it's being run by a group called Shine. They are contracted by the state to kind of lead the grant. So we're looking at applying for this grant. It's really based in school readiness. The wonderful thing about this is we will be really integrating the community. So currently we do have a community table that we were currently running, but this sort of lifts that up even more. We'll be looking to hire 1 or 2 parent ambassadors as a part of this grant, and continue the work that we've been doing with other community members, such as our town librarian and other daycares within the community. So what it really will do for us is help build the school readiness of our entire community and figure out ways in which we as a public school can support parents and students from birth right on up to school age.
Okay. That helps with one of our goals, which is to engage the community. You mentioned the parents and the town librarian. I think that's critical, those partnerships. Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for your work.
Thanks, Renee.
Okay. Item G, personnel matter. I need a motion to go into executive session inviting Julie on the personnel matter at 8:13 PM.
Motion made.
Thank you, Jonathan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tori. Okay, all in favor for executive session? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Renee? What's-
Yes.
7? Shane? Okay, that's 8-0. Thank you. It's 8:13. Okay, Tiffany, so we'll eventually come back, all right? The video
Leave
stays
that
on. The video
That
stays
stays
on,
on.
everything stays, and we'll be back, but
But the agenda is essentially done, so
Yeah.
Barb, Kathy, Nancy, Renee, go
Yeah.
on. I think I have a set, unless I took them out of my folder. I have a set right here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
And I'll see you tomorrow at 10.
Tomorrow at 10? Isn't it Thursday?
Is mediation.
It's tomorrow, not Thursday?
Yes.
Oh. Really?
There are comments.
I need my water.
And then you adjourn your.
You got walk, right?
Yeah.
So, what we do henceforth is
Yep. Give me 30 seconds to get my paper back. Okay.
I don't think you have to do public statement.
Yeah, everybody's green? Okay, all right, everybody. I need a motion at 8:27 to come out of executive session.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, Shane, Jonathan, all in favor? All right, Renee, how say you?
Yes, in
Okay.
favor.
All right, so at this point, it is 8-0. Thank you, we're out of executive session. Okay, item 4, 5, 6, 7, action item is none, so item 8, public comment, anybody wishing to speak? I see no one in the room. Item 9, future agenda items or board member comments. Okay, other than the little things that we talked about, moving budget things like the roof forward and all that, and I have notes on a couple of committee things, right? We talked about putting things on committee. Okay. All right, item 10, do we have a motion to adjourn at 8:28 PM? Thank you, Jonathan.
Second.
Thank you, Shane. All in favor? Renee, how say you?
In favor.
Okay, that's 8-0. We are now adjourned, everybody. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, Renee.
Let me find the directions and I have to turn off the TV.
Oh, man, I need to stand. Wow, Shane, you got here just in time. All right. Oh, my back. I gotta really, how am I gonna do that? All right, so we're really on TV.